Welcome to my inner sanctum. It's a little messy, but I'm not going to act like that's not the usual. Alright, this is much better. So, I wanted to take a moment to talk about how I'm feeling, to have an energetic check-in, because honestly, I had hit a brick wall with this project, which was super confusing because of many reasons, but one being, this is supposed to be a passion project, and I had just lost all motivation for it. Like, it was kind of gradual, but all of a sudden it was like, when I tried to come in here and work on it, I literally could not think of what to do. I had such brain fog. I couldn't even think of the next step. There's always a million things to do, right? Which is part of the reason why I couldn't do it, because it was a bit overwhelming. It's just I didn't know, which step was the right step to take. So I was just fogged. I was scattered, and I just had such trouble making decisions. And then so that was my mind, and then my body, I was exhausted. I was super exhausted. I had no energy to do anything. Part of this, so I'm going to get into the reasons now, and it has a lot to do with pattern recognition, right? And the way I do this is through journaling with my handy dandy notebook here. And there's, a few facets to this notebook. And it allows me to kind of take note and analyze on a day-to-day basis my thoughts, my feelings, and what I did during that day, and how they correlate, right? And what I've noticed was this pattern of being in go mode and hyperdrive mode, and which is, being stuck in hyperdrive, being stuck in go mode, being stuck in this all or nothing stinking thinking. This is a very American mindset. I haven't lived anywhere else, so I don't really know, in particular what other cultures value, but here in the West, in America, in Texas in particular, we have a strong value on work as dignity, productivity as dignity. And so that had been hardwired into me from a young age. My family, my culture, all reflected, this is what we do, this is who we are. And I mean, don't get me wrong, being productive is good and all, and I know, especially on YouTube, there's 100,000 million different videos on how to, optimize, how to be productive, and all that, jazz. But there is a toxic side to that. There is a scale to it, and I had definitely, for most of my life, been tipped in the unhealthy side of that scale, and being stuck in that go mode, that hyperdrive mode, when there's a tide to things. There is an ebb and flow. There is a doing and a being, and I had wholly left out the being. Just, again, and this was not my fault in particular, although I am taking responsibility for it, and I now realize that is unsustainable, and it's unbalanced. And so what the mindset is that goes along with that is that I'll be happy when I complete this project. I'll be happy when I get that amount of money. I'll be happy when XYZ, whatever life circumstance you want to put there, right? And it's really a sense of not being okay with who I am and where I'm at right now. And so it's always like a need to prove, or a need to protect from something that I'll lose kind of orientation, mindset. And like I said, it's super unhealthy. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And um, what this results in is burnout, which is where I've been. I mean, as I'm making this video, it's been a while since I've worked on the project. Like, I am not in the same state of mind as what I'm describing of what I had been going through, because I allowed myself to take a step back, because what I was heading towards was something I had experienced before, where you just keep going and hitting a brick wall after a brick wall after a brick wall, because again, we value grit, tenacity, and never giving up, right? Well, sometimes giving up or giving in to rest is exactly what we need to do, and rest is productive. Rest is actually necessary. Like, God, naps should be a national holiday. I'm telling you, it is a godsend to naps. Where I remember times when I was working for another construction crew, and I would go, at lunchtime to take naps in my vehicle and get, mocked and made fun of for that. And this is like, what the? Okay, so, judging from what these people do, drink Red Bull, eat like shit, and, never sleep. Well, it didn't really look like they were, living the high life, living the good life. But what I'm trying to get at with that example is that there are these like norms that we all try to like keep each other tied to, which are super, super unhealthy. Yeah, and doing that leads to burnout and this term Pyrrhic victory. I'm trying to remember the exact tale, but the guy goes out fishing, right? And he has like this big whale or fish he wants to catch, and he's like fighting it day and night, and he has it on the line, and he's like getting dragged to and fro, and finally he wears out the fish, but it's been like months, I'm gonna say, when he's been fighting this fish. And so the fish has been deteriorated so long from fighting the fisherman that when he finally drags him in, the fish is nothing but skin and bones. So his white whale, his great catch, is actually just like, you can't even feed a family with this. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was trying to avoid. So, like, even though this is a passion project, something I really wanted to do, I didn't want it to be at the expense of all other areas of my life. And so, recognizing these patterns now, I realized there needed to be a new approach. A new deal, to make a new deal with myself. So the new deal, what does that new deal look like? What does that new approach look like? Well, one, permission to not do shit, not do anything, and just be. Like, give myself permission to just be okay with myself as I am right here, right now, and not be dependent on, my job, status, or my productivity levels, or how I'm optimizing my morning routine. Just like, forget all that. Allow myself to just have a sense of being okay. Simple as that. And to slow down. Like I mentioned before, naps are the biggest remedy I think I've incorporated with this new approach. Like, having time throughout the day where I can take 10, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, to take a siesta, take time out, to take inventory, to regain energy. Again, we can't always go out. The tide has to come back in. Another thing with that is breathing, exhaling. Breath work is super huge, but like, exhale is what really brings me a sense of relief. And so taking time to breathe out, both literally, working on breathing, but also doing things like hiking, biking, playing ping pong, playing soccer, things that I enjoy. And it doesn't actually have to have a reason. I don't have to have a goal with it. I don't have to have some kind of fitness regime. It's just like taking time to do things that just bring me joy for that like simple sake. It doesn't have to be anything, extravagant or super thought out. It's just like, this makes me feel good, I'm gonna do it. Another thing that's helped is cold plunges. While that it does kind of fit into the optimization thing, I found bringing my body into a state of shock allows my mind to quiet down, because I have this tendency to get stuck in that analysis paralysis state of mind, right? And I have to override it with such a getting out of your mind and into your body is super helpful. And one way to, like, a surefire way to do that is to get into cold water. Trust me, it shuts down your mind. You cannot think when you're sitting in 30-degree water. It's just like, it's impossible. And that's where the breath work really comes in handy, right? Go check out Wim Hof. I'm sure you already have if you're on YouTube at all. I'm probably pretty tired of it by now, like I am. But it is super helpful. And again, just doing something like hiking, biking, playing, but also other creative projects. Like, I almost felt like I had to finish this before I allowed myself to do anything else. I was being a tyrant to myself. I was like whipping myself over the back, being like, you have to finish this before you can rest today. You aren't allowed to go hang out with friends because this is your main goal. It's just such an unbalanced life. And so, all this has to relate to lifestyle management, again, which is why I find journaling so helpful. I find, habit tracking so helpful. And emotional processing so helpful. If you haven't already, go check out Emma McAdam, Therapy in a Nutshell. I have downloaded here in my journal and printed out a emotional processing booklet where literally day by day you can go and keep track of how you're feeling, again, and how that correlates to what you're doing throughout the day. And this has probably been one of the most helpful things to overcome those toxic patterns, and because it allows you to have like an outside point of view, an observer's state of mind. And speaking of that observer state of mind, shifting from that inner tyrant of I'll only be happy when, to firing that asshole, right? And employing an inner advocate. And this is really coming to terms with being your own best friend, like encouraging yourself. You always treat other people, or at least in my experience, it's like I always view and treat other people better than I treat myself. And it's time to flip that script and change that story back to treating myself as best as I can, and like I treat other people. And so that brings about encouragement for sure, and admitting to myself what truly matters to me most, and allowing myself to go after what truly matters to me. Another aspect of this is celebrating small wins. And okay. Sorry. One of the biggest frustrations that has got me in this state of burnout, and honestly on the verge, if not depression, was this sense of lack of progress. With that inner tyrant came a perfectionist tendency to only value the outcome, only value the end product, only value what I have been doing after it's completed, which, you know, looking back and from when this was a trash trailer, from ground zero right to what it is now, is huge. It is huge, massive progress. But, you know, I had been in such a spot that I wouldn't allow myself to see that, because all I was concerned about was being completed out on the road and in a whole new state of mind and a whole new state. Like, I want to be out of Texas. So quite literally, you know, I was tired of being in Texas and I wanted to be out. And so I just like separated myself from the doing and allowing myself to really enjoy this. Like, don't get me wrong, when I started and I had been working out on it, like, there was this huge curve of enthusiasm, of joy, of this is definitely something I love to create. And then there's just like brick wall. But there were flags along the way that let me know, like, hey, you need to pay attention over here to this area of life. So celebrating the small wins along the way, noticing those flags too, and balancing other areas of your life, and treating yourself to stuff. I personally love shoes, so anytime I can like have a reason to buy myself a new pair of shoes, that, like, I'm telling you, you ever hear that song by Paolo Nutini, New Shoes? It's like my anthem. Definitely brings me into a higher state of mind. And so anytime I need to reward myself, shoes are my go-to. But it doesn't have, shoes are expensive, and so it doesn't have to be that. It can also be, you know, like freaking ice cream. Love ice cream, you know. Cooking yourself a nice meal. What else? Yeah. So, noticing the small things, rewarding myself, and actually being proud of myself, and working with myself. So, with, you know, the old paradigm of like trying to whiplash myself into shape and that inner tyrant, I was super resistant to, you know, like doing it. It was like a forced energy to it. Like, you have to do this. And the switch here is that I get to do this, and working with myself and having an unforced way about it. And what I mean by that is that, you know, like when you notice a pattern of like, oh, this isn't feeling good, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling unmotivated, I'm feeling brain fogged, I'm feeling scattered, take a step back, do something different, take a nap, like shift it up, pivot, because when that happens, I've noticed that is a sign of a divine detour. Our soul is letting us know this is not it anymore. There's something new that needs to be learned. There's something else that needs to be incorporated. Or you just simply need to regain your energy and take a break. And so that has allowed me, now that I've stepped back from it for a while and allowed myself time and space for it, you know, I've realized a few things, and now can synthesize, you know, this message hopefully in a clear way, and understand the pattern that gets me into those burnout, depressed states, and hopefully avoid it in the future. You know, part of that avoidance is updating the software system, you know, like on your phone or on your computer. Every now and then you have to update your software system. Actually, it's a lot like that, because your computer starts to get sluggish, right? You can't download things. There's just, your computer is getting burnt out. And so those updates where it shuts down, restarts, right, is something we need to do as well. And bring about and implement new mindsets and paradigms that fix those bugs of thinking and doing that slow us down and burn us out. Sometimes it's a major reset, a major update, you know, meaning it has to do with our core beliefs and who we are and how we identify ourselves as. And that is something, I feel that I'm currently going through. And so I don't know if this video is the right time to talk about it, but yeah, this is where I'm gonna leave it, and we'll save that for next time. But thanks for being with me. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Don't forget to pause. Don't forget to allow yourself the grace to just be and not have to do, anything. All right. Peace, love. I'll see you next time.